move on to talk about what's going on at Arsenal. Viktor Gyokeres given the green light to make that move to Arsenal. It's all agreed with Sporting. Medical is set for this player, and it is basically done. Julien still with us here. Jules, they got their guy.
Yes, finally. It took them a long time to get this one done. We knew that since the start of the window, pretty much it was between Šeško and Gyökeres. They looked at both. They initiated talks with both, and both clubs, Leipzig and Sporting. And we said also from the beginning that it's difficult to deal with Sporting, to negotiate with them, because they want every penny. They keep changing their mind. Their president and is quite difficult in that sense. He just wants the value that he's decided for his players, and it doesn't always work like that. But eventually, finally, they've got Gyökeres. They wanted him for the start of pre-season. He's missed the start of pre-season and the first game friendly match against AC Milan, but he should be there now for the rest of it, and then obviously for the start of the season, which I guess is always the most important. We're not sure in what kind of fitness he really is, because he didn't really take part into the Sporting kind of pre-season tour, if you want, because he was on the move and he wanted to join Arsenal for a few weeks now. But at least they've got him. He's going to do his medical, and then hopefully he's going to hit the ground running for them.
So obviously the hope is that he will join up quickly. How does timing affect players when they're not there, Stevie, from day one of the pre-season in a new club, in a new setup?
I think a lot of the time that's down to the individual. How coming in late can affect you. You know, if you get a real strong-willed, good character, then he'll just come in and play. And he won't be thinking about not being integrated with the team. However, if you get somebody in who's the type that needs an arm around the shoulder all the time, then it could affect them. But again, as always, when that happens, you don't get the answer until we're 2 or 3 games in to see whether he's actually... Does he understand what United are trying to do, Arsenal are trying to do? Does he understand the players around them, what they're looking for from him? Do they understand him? So all of these things that, if he had come in right at the start, by the time the season kicks off, all those fears are allayed, because you've spent enough time with everybody that they know your game and you know theirs. So a lot of it is down to him, but it's certainly not ideal.
No, it's always the sooner the better, right, Shaka?
It is. I'll go slightly differently on Stephen. I don't think it's that big a deal for a player of Gyökeres' age, experience and quality. Now, maybe if you're having this conversation about Benjamin Šeško at 22 years old, you want to come in a little bit sooner. But for somebody, Gyökeres, as I say, a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, I think he hits the ground running. It's well enough ahead of the start of the season that he just slots in, he finds his rhythm rather quickly. I don't think that is as much of an issue for a player of his quality.
You mentioned Šeško there, Jules, and it's obviously something that's going to come up in tonight's show anyway. But when they're looking at those two players, why Gyökeres over Šeško for Arsenal?
It's a different profile to start with. I think Šeško was seen, and rightly so, as not really a lethal goal scorer. He's never had more than 13 league goals a season, for example, whereas Gyökeres is a proper number 9 in that sense, in the terms of being a finisher style, if you want. He's just an incredible goal scorer and finisher. Šeško is an all-around, probably better player than Gyökeres. He's a bit like Havertz in the sense that there's a lot of things he can do. He can pass the ball. He's great at pressing. He can link up the play. He's strong in the air, but he's very good technically for his size. He's quite quick. That you have it, but in a way you already have it a little bit with Havertz. Whereas for Gyökeres, that profile of a number 9, of just a finisher in the 6-yard box, one-touch finish, one-time finish in the box, one-touch, all of that, this is Gyökeres. And you don't really have that, because that's not what Havertz is, that's not what Gabriel Jesus is. Even a Trossard as a number 9, or whoever you want to play as a 9, this is not what they are. So I guess in Gyökeres, you just have that profile. And yeah, he's maybe a little bit older than what they would have liked, because he's 27 already, but I think he's got that profile that they were missing, and that they needed more than Šeško, who in a way they have a bit of, because Havertz is quite similar.
Yeah, I suppose one thing we do know, to Stevie's point, Shaka, is that Nicol is definitely a manager who can put his arm around this player.
Absolutely, isn't it? And Mikel Arteta certainly has gotten the best out of the players. We've questioned some of the signings, but he's gotten a tune out of most of those signings, a couple of exceptions, of course. And I think Arteta does that. This is a player that they've needed for quite some time. Finally, they've landed. And right now, all signs are it's a very, very good signing.